Hey, yo, it's me, K-Rail. How's everybody doing today? We are live from my apartment in Park City, Utah, in my living room. We still have snow outside. I'm getting a big, huge amount of reflective feedback from the sun. It's about up to my waist still, and that's totally fine. We had a great winter. Anyway, I'm going to patch my good friend Mark Testa in a second. But before we get there, I'm going to give you a quick exercise tip. Part of Indian Clubs International is going to be rocking it on May 18th in Northeast Pennsylvania, me and my good friend Kelly Manzoni. While, mind you, Paul Teresvold-Vinsky is going to be straight above us in Canada doing an event there, simultaneously, Indian Clubs International. So, here's what you can expect if you come to this event. We're going to be doing some health wand drills. A health wand is one of the four horsemen. That was one of the original historical training tools years and years ago in history, 200 some years ago, along with dumbbells, Indian clubs, and medicine balls. So I'm going to show you a quick drill because we want to make sure we're good and stretched out today that you can do with a health wand. This right here is a health wand. 5 feet in diameter, 1 inch thick, hickory. A simple drill like this in the middle of the afternoon, holding your wand like this with the triangle position of your arms. All you gotta do is this. You see my right arm? Spiral. Left shoulder, spiral. Right shoulder, spiral. Spiral motions, look at this, are really super good for your posture. This feels so good right now, it's unbelievable. So do about 10 of those this way, 10 of those this way, in the middle of the afternoon when you're sitting at your desk for hours on end, and that's going to refresh your shoulders, your brain, your wrists, your elbows, and everything in between, okay? Oh, Shanti. Let's breathe. All right, let's get Mark on here. Where is he? I got to hit add people. And where are you? I don't see him. So I'm going to keep babbling until he appears magically. So, I need to get my earbuds in too, because if we don't have our earbuds in, we're going to have massive feedback, and we can't let that happen now, can we? So stay tuned. Hold on. I'm going to twist the camera sideways to the left. My left. I don't know what. All right, now, let me try to hunt Mark down. I'm waiting. He seems to be not here. And, hey, Partray, how's it going? What we're going to talk about today is ingredient labels and what's the other thing? Nutrient fact panels. There is a lot of confusion going on out there, folks, on how to read these suckers. And you know what? I'm tired of people getting lied to. And I'm tired of people having inconsistencies on what they're buying out there. And they always tell you, stay out of the middle aisles of the grocery store. Who's they? The experts. Stay out of the middle of the aisles. Oh my gosh, you're going to gain 5 pounds if you walk through the middle of the aisle of a grocery store. Make sure to stay on the perimeter. Well, guess what? There's plenty of junk food on the perimeters. There's bottles of stuff in the refrigerators that have high fructose corn syrup, aspartame potassium, Rockstar energy drinks, Monster energy drinks. That stuff's good for you? Guess where it's located? Guess. A little louder? Correct. It's on the outside aisles, not the outside aisles. It's on the outside perimeter of your grocery stores. Bad news, bad stuff. Stay away from that stuff. All you have to do is think logically and smart. There are plenty of good foods in the middle of the aisles. You just got to know what the heck you're looking for and what labels to read and how to read them. And that's what we're going to go into today. I think the mace and the Indian clubs are... Dude, Partray, no word, not no word. Word is what I'm saying. He just said the Indian clubs and the mace are great tools for body sculpting and staying in great shape of the upper body. Absolutely true, 100%. I integrate them in every single thing I do. And let me see if I get Mark on here. Hang tight. I don't know where he is. Well, guess what? I'm going on solo until Mark appears. So here's what we need to do, folks. Hold on. First thing we need to do is I need to get a sip of refreshing homemade kombucha. This is called Amethyst, by the way. This is one of my special blends. Oh, my goodness, is that good. It's got a nice zip to it. Got good bubble, too. All natural. I don't do forced carbonation with my kombucha, folks. Just saying. Anyway, let's talk about nutrition labels until Mark appears. And if he doesn't, then I guess I'm going solo today. And I might have taken my shirt off because I am actually sweating right now. It's been like 5 degrees above zero for the past 4 months here in Park City. Finally, the sun is out, and it's getting nice, and it's getting spring-like. Hey, Chris, how's it going? So anyway, what are some of the things you need to look at when you're shopping? Okay, you got to look at your ingredient labels. So if you walk into a store and you see this fancy package or this fancy big poster that says, blah, 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 on sale, 2 for $3, 2 for $5, 3 for $9, 3 for $10, all these other things. Don't get suckered into it and don't get fooled until you read the ingredient label, the fine print. And I'm going to ask you to bring a magnifying glass with you or some kind of reading glasses if you need to read those labels, because oftentimes the print is very small. And you know, you hear all the time about people signing contracts without reading the fine print. That's bad news. That's bad stuff. That does not resonate with your body. There's Mark. I'm going to patch him in, and then we're going to get down to business. So hold tight. Mark, I'm trying to add you, Mark. Hang tight, buddy. I see you there, but I can't hit the word add for some reason. I know what's up. What's up is I'm trying to get you on here. But you're not appearing in the add section. Why? Are you on some kind of weird, I don't know what you're doing, man. I'm hitting add and I can't get you in. So keep trying and let me know when you're available to add to the conversation. So anyway, what I was saying was always look at your ingredient label and your nutrition facts panel. So in there is where you're going to find all the hidden stuff. The stuff that you don't want. High fructose corn syrup, hydrogenated oils, partially hydrogenated oils, FD&C red lake number 4. That's my favorite one of all time. I love it. I don't love to take it in my body. I love to talk about it. It's a dye. It's a food coloring. It's a preservative. Do you really think your pancreas and your liver and your kidneys and your brain all like this kind of stuff? Mark, I can't get you in for some reason. When I hit the add button, the add icon is not next to you. See if you can get recalibrated somehow. Maybe it's your internet service. I don't know. I'm starting to break a sweat. You know why? Because if you haven't noticed, I get really excited about this stuff. I need to take a couple deep breaths. Breathe with me. Ready? Now, did that feel good? We just rooted it all into the ground. All that negative stuff. We just put it right in the ground. So anyway, you've got to be careful when you're reading your ingredient labels. That's the main thing. Don't worry about the fat content. Don't worry about the protein. Don't worry about the carbs unless you're following a macronutrient diet and you're specifically looking for the correct amount that you're looking for per food product or whatever. Always go to your ingredient label first. Ingredient label first, then circle back to your nutrient facts panel. So if you see anything that is foreign in there, if you see any initials, okay, there we go. Now I see Mark. And add. He's coming. Buffering. Another sip of kombucha. Do a quick plank while we're waiting for Mark to come in. All of y'all out there. There he is.
There. I forgot I had to be on an iPhone.
Oh, well, there's the problem.
I was at my computer.
Mark, welcome to the fray, and we're talking about nutrition labels and stuff. I know you only have like 30 minutes or so, so we're getting right down to business here. I was explaining some of the things that people should look for when they're buying food. Don't look at the fancy posters with all the marketing on it. Go to the nutrient label facts panel, the ingredient label first. Then we're going to go back to the nutrient facts panel. So I mentioned high fructose corn syrup, hydrogenated oils, partially hydrogenated oils, BHT. I love BHT. There used to be a radio station back in Northeast Pennsylvania where I grew up called WBHT. And they just go, WBHT. And I used to always say it like I was like the radio announcer. And then lo and behold, fast forward several years down the road, and BHT is an abbreviation for a word I can't even pronounce. And I'm pretty shrewd when it comes to ingredient labels and pronouncing words. And if I can't pronounce it, you know it's nasty and it doesn't belong in your body. So for you people listening at home and watching us nutcases getting all nerdy here and geeked out on nutrition labels, you should never buy a product with an acronym in it, such as BHT or BHA or anything weird that you have to do the people's eyebrow to. If you ever have to do the people's eyebrow in an ingredient label, no dice, no good. But I was getting into the food colorings, the FD&C red lake number 4 and the blue number 5s. And I've had argument after argument with healthcare professionals, doctors, and everything else in between who point their finger at me and tell me, you don't know what you're talking about. How dare you talk about that stuff? Because you didn't go to school for 50 years to be a doctor. And I laugh in their face. I'm like, I didn't need to go to school for 50 years to know that high fructose corn syrup don't belong in my body. And then they start shoving tests at me and studies and stuff. And I'm like, it's common sense, bro. I don't want genetically modified organisms in my system. I don't want red lake number 4. I don't want to turn my pancreas and kidneys and liver into like test subjects, like things that are going to be like, I didn't read the study. I actually had a friend who was the funeral parlor guy. What's he called? What's the funeral parlor guy called?
The mortician.
Mortician. He was a mortician. And we had many conversations before band practice about what happens to the body after people die. And you know what he told me? This is shocking, everybody. If you're not sitting down, you might want to sit down for this because it's hilarious.
Hold on.
You're sitting, right?
I'm sitting.
Okay, so this is all the way back around 2005, and I have to assume things have gotten even worse and more out of control. He told me that in the funeral industry business, they were finding out that the amount of embalming fluids that they needed for people had slowly declined to a point where some companies of embalming fluids were going out of business. And what they found out is people were so infected with all these chemicals and preservatives that they had eaten their whole lives that they didn't need as many embalming fluids when they died to preserve the body in the casket. What do you think about that, Mark Testa?
I don't know. Maybe it's possible. I don't know anything about that. I'll stick with what I know. Back to your label point, though.
Yes.
Like this?
Yeah.
Water? Guess what? It's vegan.
You better go and listen to Lewis Black after you're done with this about his bid on water, because it is absolutely hilarious.
It's gluten-free.
That's great. And
it's
you know
paleo. That's part of the label bullshit that I see out there.
Are you
those
serious?
Catchy,
on water?
Not on water in particularly, but those catchy non-GMO, organic, gluten-free, paleo, to sell crap that we wouldn't want to eat, highly still processed. And you know, the rant we talked about last week about carbohydrates, right? You know,
right.
Serving size on the label of all this healthy, gluten-free, paleo, low bullshit is still very high, right? Still very high in carbohydrates and delusional to people. I was watching last night on PBS, a well-known internet doctor who we won't name here, talking about his paleo program. And guess what? On my paleo program, you can eat pancakes, you can eat cookies, you can eat paleo, muffins, you can eat paleo scones.
Donuts.
Yes. And I was like, you know what? That's not it. That's not teaching people health. Shifting from wheat to super refined nut flours is no better, really. I don't care if it's paleo. So the labeling of non-GMO, gluten-free, paleo, organic is just as bad as a poor label ingredient panel.
Well, I wouldn't go as far as saying it's just as bad, but I'm going to say this. It is marketing hype, and obviously something that's gluten-free, organic, paleo, 55 other acronyms is going to be better than like Twinkies or cupcakes or Oreos.
True.
As far as from a completely health perspective, better. However, let's not forget, people, calories are calories. If I eat a package of Oreos, or I eat a package of organic Numinos, what's going to happen to me?
Right. Blood sugar spike.
Blood sugar's going to go through the roof. I still will get diabetes if I eat a package of those before bed every single night.
Exactly.
Down the road.
Right.
I may not get cancer from the Numinos. The Oreos will give me cancer because of the saturated fat and the acrylamides. I may not get cancer on the left, but I'll still get diabetes. So it's like, it's catch-22. It's 6 in one hand and 12 in the other type of a deal. So you've got to be leery of what's going on. However, if we're strictly talking about the purity and the cleanliness of the food, then obviously go with the organic, the gluten-free, the paleo, the blah, 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 over just the conventional garbage over here. So that's always found in the ingredient label. Look in your ingredient labels. Just for a quick grade 2 mentality, Mark, we're not going to go too deep here with this. No acronyms, no colors, no words you can't pronounce, no partially hydrogenated oils or hydrogenated oils in your ingredient labels. And I definitely suggest GMO-free, or look for that little GMO-free verified symbol, things like a V or something like that.
GMO-free.
Great, Mark. You keep on sucking that water down. And that plastic bottle, I might add.
You're right.
Just don't let that sit on your dashboard for 2 minutes, or you're going to get the plastic intake.
How about, what do you think about yeast extracts, autolyzed yeast extracts, yeast extract, those sort of things? Those are sort of an MSG, right? They're flavor enhancers.
It's a derivative. They're derivatives, and you got to be very careful of those. Hydrolyzed, I think.
Hydrolyzed proteins, hydrolyzed stuff. Yeah, I think those are just as bad. I try to keep those out of my diet as well, because they are enhanced. They're chemical flavor enhancers.
Yes. They are often
chemical.
Found, yeah.
I want nutrients, not chemicals.
And they're not easy to pronounce. Remember the rule. If a second grader can pronounce it, it's safe. If a second grader can't pronounce it, it's not safe. And you often find those things that you're mentioning in some of the faux vegan meats and stuff. There are very few meat alternatives that I like, or that I will buy, or that I will use on my plant-based and vegan days, because I'm concerned about the ingredient labels start getting like, they start, they're getting pretty thick. You get all those little fillers in there and they add up, and then your body starts saying, "What? Wait, you're doing vegan today, but what's all this?" Your stomach is going to look up at you like, "Hey, what's this hydrolyzed crap you're putting in my body?" And you could figure it out really quick, because if you have any kind of reactions at all, if you feel bloated, or you feel more gassy than normal, or like you have headaches, or you're tired, or you're lethargic, or like anything other than like energy happens when you eat a food, that's a dead giveaway right there.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
my other beef on labels is the serving size situation that is not always easy to find. It's generally at the top. Sometimes it's a little bit smaller. Although there are certain font sizes that labels are required to have. But serving size. So
yeah, that's
go
what I was
back
getting
to
at
the
next. Yeah.
Oh, good.
I was about to go there. I was like, let's go to the nutrient facts panel. Go ahead.
So the serving size. So that's part of my rub with all the different grains that are available now: gluten-free, non-GMO, organic, paleo. When you look at the serving size, it might be a quarter of a cup of something. I'll just use quinoa as an example, which is easy to eat a lot more than a quarter of a cup. And yet I'm going to pick on the carbohydrate as the macronutrient, might be 30 grams. And if you really think about maybe that you'll eat a half a cup of that, or potentially a whole cup, you might have as many as 120 grams of carbs in one meal, or in one just food. And I think this is the slippery slope of how people in America get overweight and stay overweight and have prediabetes and all the lipid issues. Is it's too easy to overeat carbohydrates in the form of all these healthy looking paleo type grains or gluten substitutes, and get on a trajectory for these health conditions. Because again, that might be one meal, that might be one food, but at the end of the day, you've consumed as a total aggregate, let's just say, of carbs, maybe 400 or 500 grams of those things that are driving the weight, the obesity, the insulin, the inflammatory, the autoimmune, all that jazz.
Yeah, that's exactly the point I wanted to make too, was when you go to buy a product, it'll say X amount of calories, and you're like, oh, good, it's only 120 calories. But never judge it by what you see first. Always go to the serving size. How many servings are in that package? How many servings are in that box of pasta? How many servings are in that all-natural cookie you got, that vegan cookie? 130 calories only. Look at this, Mildred. You tell your friend Mildred, look at this cookie. It's 130 calories. It's vegan. So you skip on down the hall as fast as you can to the register, buying 5 or 6 of these, and you start eating them on a daily basis. But guess what the problem is? You didn't take the time to read the fine print. 130 calories, and underneath it says serving size 3. So that 130 calorie cookie is actually 390 calories worth of cookie. And when you eat one of those at the end of a meal, you just added 390 empty calories to your meal and to your daily total. And when the weight starts gaining, it's little things like that add up. And the same thing goes with beverages and like ready-made like protein drinks and everything you find in the market. It's always based on, right? That's a big one.
Yeah, that's great.
Naked drinks. Not that I'm bashing Naked Company out there. They make some decent things. However, when it says 240 calories on there, read the fine print, because there's some of those that are like end up being 500 and some calories for the whole thing. And Bold House Farms is another one. And I'm not lying. This ain't slander. Just go read the labels, man. I'm just telling you the truth, people. So
that's such a great point. Such a great point. Like if you just ate pretty good but finished it off with a vegan brownie and had a 12-ounce caloric drink, you could just have consumed a lot of calories. And and so not that you can't enjoy yourself, but I think you have to pick and choose how you're going to do that, when you're going to do that, amounts exactly, and not all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Save it for like once a week or something like that, but always atone for every single calorie you consume, and make sure to go to the amount of calories and the serving size of the product and how much of it you have, and do the same with all your beverages too. These lattes people drink all the time, and those ready to drink like sweet coffee beverages I'm starting to see in the cold brews and stuff. Oh, it
Yep.
turns up your thermogenic response. It has caffeine, gives you a spark and energy. Okay, but you give yourself a 520 calorie deficit as soon as you drink it. So
Right.
you get right behind the 8 ball. And it's got to be, you have to make more mindful decisions on what you're buying, what you're purchasing. So to go back to what I started saying originally, don't necessarily run away from the middle aisles of the grocery store. I spend time all over the store. I'm like a jackrabbit in there. I'm all over the place. Just make sure that you get clean things and make sure to read your ingredient labels. I mean, bulk bins are usually in the middle of the grocery store, and you can find some organic bulk there. And if you want to save some money on the quinoa, get it in the bulk section because it's going to be $2 cheaper than if you buy it in a box. How people haven't caught on to that yet it just absolutely shocks me, right? They have a box of quinoa, 8-ounce box of quinoa that's like $7, and you can buy it by a pound for like $2.99 or whatever it is.
Yeah, right.
Which is ridiculously cheap.
Exactly.
Is it just the comfort level? I don't know. I don't get it.
It might be. So back to the label.
Okay.
Here's a snack I'm having. Well, it was my breakfast, actually. Ingredients. Cashews. Thanks for doing that. I didn't want people to think that we froze. Thanks for doing that. That's what I like about, right? Simplistic food, simple ingredients, things you can say. If it grew in the ground or on a tree, you know, it should be very easy. You should know what it is. Apple, broccoli, nuts.
Banana, cashew.
Right. And so, you know, that low carb conference I went to last week, and no surprise, they showed that whatever it was, the more refined it became, the more of an insulin glucose issue it became on the body. And it's not just insulin and glucose. I mean, right now we have an epidemic of fatty liver going on in the United States with kids and certainly with adults. And I had it. I had it 15 years ago. Why? Because I was 50 pounds overweight, eating like crap, you know, eating late, all the things that, you know, don't work now anymore. And you know the crazy thing about that, and I bet this is to some degree still true, not one person asked me what I was eating. Not one. Nope. No. I either had hepatitis, AIDS, cirrhosis, liver cancer. I'm like, now in retrospect, I'm like, what the hell? What are you eating, Mr. Testa? What is it you are eating that's causing you to get like this? No,
so
you have
your
AIDS,
doctors?
cancer, hepatitis, liver cancer. I was like, of course I didn't have any of that shit. But this is what eating too many refined things. That's where I started with that. From that low carb conference last week, the more refined everything is, the worse it is on our blood sugar and potential fatty liver.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, Mark Testa. And if you came to me and said all your ailments, the first word on my mouth would have been like, what's your diet look like? And that's basically what I say to everybody who comes and trains with me, even if they're in peak physical condition. We'll have this little interview. And I actually interview people before I train them, I might add. So if any of you want to train with me, give me a shout, but I have to interview you first. Because if you're going to be like baggage and like miserable and complain and like everything else, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I can't do it. Anyway, I always go back to what's your diet look like? Because even if they're in great shape, I want to know what their diet looks like because they're doing something good and right. If they're in overweight or bad shape, obviously I need to know what their diet looks like so I can help them correct. I can help correct the fault lines and get some rubber seal or cement and fix those babies up and get them in the right direction. So I always need to know that. Diet is everything. It's 99% of everything. Brain function, hormone function, weight loss, weight gain, muscle preservation, muscle building. If your diet's not right, you're not right.
That's right.
In the computer up here. Mark,
and to your point,
go ahead.
Well, as you say, to your point earlier, that the doctors give you crap when you know because you don't have all the training. That's why you ask about diet, because you don't have all that biased training and lack of knowledge that doctors have. What, 15 hours of nutrition, 10 hours of nutrition in medical school?
Yeah,
there was a paper published by a Denver cardiologist who published a paper recently, and it was a good one. He's like, for the number one thing that cardiologists can affect people with their cardiac problems is diet. We don't learn any of it. And he did sort of a research on that. And for the number one of the most modifiable diseases, cardiovascular disease, improved with diet, cardiologists don't know anything about it. They don't know anything about diet.
Well, luckily for me, one of my clients is a cardiologist, and he's very open to fasting. He's open to alternative medicine and stuff. And we have, when I have him doing kettlebell swings and things, we're talking about all these different things that are going on with diet and stuff like that. He's very into alternative medicine, which is very refreshing and awesome, I might add. Yeah. So, and he knows he knows what's up and what goes on behind the scenes in the pharmaceutical industry, etc. And it's very sobering to know that I have people to talk to like that are in the industry. I mean, well, you're basically in the industry too, because you deal with doctors as well. So you see what's going on, and a lot of them do know what the story is, and they have a good message and a good positive angle to take. And like I said, we're never just like throwing conventional medicine out the window or saying all doctors are evil. We just state facts. We just want you to think. We want you to take control of your life, and don't be such, pigeonholed into thinking things are a certain way when they're not. You got to take control of your life. Remember that. It's always the case. Mark, it looks like we have a question. My son was asking what shortening was because they use it all the time in foods, cooking class at school. Would you like to answer that for us?
I'm thinking shortenings were hydrogenated oils. So
exactly.
They were,
100% hydrogenated oils, yeah.
Plant-based oils that were hydrogenated, meaning they had a hydrogen ion added to a fluid molecule, which is what made it liquid, and then they put a molecule on it and it locked it up and made it a solid. So, those are illegal now. You can't have trans fats in food.
Are they?
I think they've been really, I think they largely have removed a lot of that stuff. There's some law that passed maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that said you can't be using partially hydrogenated oils, or it was reduced significantly, thankfully.
Well, I love that idea, and that's exactly, Mark is correct. They add a molecule of hydrogen to make a liquid oil solid, making it what's called shelf stable. So you can buy it off the grocery store, you can take it home, you can smear it in a pan, you can bake cookies with it, and muffins. Just like your mom did, my mom did.
Right.
That's child abuse. We're abused at a young age, didn't even know it. That's not fair. Luckily, hopefully, all the fasting I've been doing for the past 20+ years has flushed all that junk out of my system. Goodness gracious.
Right. I just got a Prolon kit delivered to the house. I'm going to do that in the next week or so.
Oh, sweet. I'm going to start a 7-day animal-free challenge tomorrow, which I'll probably be coming back on Instagram tomorrow and talking about it. And then after it's over, I'm going into a 48-hour fast. This time I'm doing 7 days vegan/plant-based, then a 48-hour fast. And then I'm going to come out with animal protein. So I'm doing all these different fun combinations right now. I'm in big experimental phase right now to see what is the best option for me. But Mark mentioned the Prolon diet. What he's talking about, for those of you that are not in the know, is fasting mimicking, it's called. Since you brought it up, we might as well just talk about it. Sure. We've got a program called Reversing Middle Age that we're about to start another one in a few weeks. So if anybody's interested, hit us up behind the scenes, send us a PM, and we'll tell you all about it. But fasting mimicking is a diet plan that was created by Dr. Walter Longo and associates from the University of Southern California, also known as USC, for you football fans out there. And it takes 5 days, and you follow a predominantly plant-based diet for 5 days. And your first day is approximately, 1,100 calories, is it?
Right, exactly.
And then the 4 days after, you eat 770 to 800 calories of plant-based vegan food in 3 meals. And what ends up happening is your body goes into autophagy after about day 3. You go into ketosis, you lose a bunch of weight, your brain function goes through the roof, and you feel and look amazing, astonishing. And when Mark's on that diet, he is one sexy beast, let me tell you.
I'm going to do all my Facebook Lives that week with no shirt on.
Now we're talking. So you're starting next week?
I don't know. My daughter's on spring break. It's probably not an ideal time for me to do it, but probably the following week. Mm-hmm. But I love this idea of a animal-free week followed by a 48-hour fast. I can't wait to see what that's going to do. I'd like to do that myself. I think maybe I'll do that this summer or coming up later this spring. I like that idea.
Well, I was going to say, why don't you just do it with me? When is your daughter on spring break?
You know what? If it's just animal-free, I could probably do it with you. When are you going to start it?
I'll start it. I'm going to have tonight I'm going to have one more meal, and I'll probably have animal protein. And then tomorrow I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to start tomorrow. So it'll be like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I want to make sure that everybody does it through a weekend. Yeah. I want you all to get strong out there. I don't want any excuses. I want you to go through a weekend. I want you to go out with your friends and go out to dinner and do everything else. You can do anything you want, except it has to be animal free. When I say animal free, I'm talking like no honey, no milk solids in allegedly a vegetarian candy bar. And when you go to a restaurant and order vegetarian or vegetable soup, ask them what the stock is made out of, because you'd be shocked to find out that vegetable soup is often chicken stock or beef stock.
Right, it is.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a piece of purpose. It's like, what?
That's a great trick on the vegans and vegetarians. I find it funny.
Yeah. So those vegans and vegetarians and plant-based people out there that are serious and get it and understand, they're the ones that are going to ask the questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions when you go out to eat, people.
Does that mean no eggs, no butter?
No eggs, no butter, no ghee, no nothing. You know what? I've got popcorn I got from Whole Foods a couple weeks ago. 2 bags for $5. And one has ghee coating on it and salt, Himalayan sea salt. It's delicious. I reached in the bag one day when I was following my plant-based day, and I took my hand back out. And I was like, wait a minute. It says ghee on it. And I'm flipping the bag around looking for the V symbol for vegan. I'm like, I thought it might have been like just like a vegan form of flavoring. No can do. Because I checked the other bag and it said vegan, and this one didn't. I was like, I can't eat this. So, yes, anything that has to do with an animal is not allowed. No eggs, no dairy, no butter, no ghee, no nothing. So I want it to be pretty strict. You know, I'm hardcore, man. I don't screw around.
I know. That's
I go
good.
all or nothing. All or nothing is how it works with me.
All right, I'll jump in with you.
Are you still good, or you got a boogie?
I'm good.
You good? Okay. Let's talk about. We talked about the nutrition labels. We talked about the ingredient labels. We talked about beverages, but we didn't go really deep into the weeds of beverages. I think they're very, just like the Beastie Boys said, listen all y'all, it's a sabotage. I know too many people who sabotage themselves with liquid calories. They drink them during the day, they drink them with their meals, they drink them after their meals. They drink a glass of wine before their dinner, they drink a glass of wine after the dinner. They eat at 7 o'clock, and then they combine alcohol after that meal as well. Let me tell you something. Liquid calories add pounds. There was a teacher I had in high school. What was his name? Mr. Shawalik. He drank like 2 liters of soda a day throughout the day. And there's people watching this right now, and I don't mean to offend you. I'm just stating facts here. If you're drinking even 20 ounces of soda a day, you are doing yourself such an injustice, it's unbelievable. You know how many teaspoons of sugar there are in a 20-ounce bottle of soda? Mark, do you know?
20 ounce, 5 teaspoons?
12.
12
teaspoons. That's an astronomical, I think it might be, wait, is it 60 grams of sugar? It might be 15 teaspoons. It's somewhere between 12 and 15 teaspoons of sugar in one 20-ounce bottle of soda. So it's like a common trend across America. People that sit for long periods of time at desks and work, they'll drink like at least 2 Mountain Dews a day at their desk throughout the day. That's 30 teaspoons of sugar in one day just from your liquid, just from soda alone. That is an astronomical amount.
And that just keeps the whole blood glucose insulin level high all day long. I saw it on a flight to, I'm sitting in a hotel room, but I saw it on my way out here to North Carolina that it was a 3.5 hour flight, whatever. This guy sipped on a 20-ounce Coke, full sugar, the whole entire time. And, you know, I learned from you, and I love this, you know, eat within a 1 hour window, right? We always talk about not snacking, letting the blood sugar do its thing up and down. But this was just a constant low level of elevated glucose. And I thought, man, that is just such a dangerous thing to do. And so your point, I see it where people get a soda, put it on their desk, and sip on it all day. Crazy.
Yeah, it's like an intravenous drip of sugar going to your system. And FYI, I'm drinking my kombucha here, but I literally just got done eating right before I started this. So I'm still in my window right now. And what Mark is referring to is when you're following, even if you're not following a time-restricted eating window like we do, you should always eat your meals inside of an hour block of time or an hour and a half maximum. And then after that's over with, if you want to drink kombucha, great. Eat it in your small eating window. If you want to have a soda, I'm not going to be the food police here. Drink it while you're eating your meal. Don't drink it in the afternoon. If you want to have coffee with cream and sugar in it, drink it while you're eating. Have your beverages in your eating time span and then nothing in between. Otherwise, you never give your body a chance to reset. And that's just such a problem right now. It's like the 6 meals a day, the snacks, the grazing, all that kind of stuff. Hey, I used to be one of the biggest advocates of 6 meals a day years ago. I preached it to everybody. I was like, hallelujah, I found a new miracle. And little did I know of the ravages behind it until I got deep into the weeds of how the body actually works and how glucose works and how the pancreas releases insulin and everything. And now, policemen are coming for me. Trying to put out the fire. But anyway, always keep it tight and short and sweet when it comes to your meals. 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day, nothing in between. It's really that simple. There's nothing complicated about it. So when they used to say, yeah, eat 3 square meals a day when you're a little kid, yeah, that's not a bad plan. Try to eat those 3 square meals between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. And that's as simple as it gets. That's the like baseline simplicity of fasting right there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I agree. No snacks.
Yeah.
And it's easy. And that's a great starting point for anybody, really. If you want to lose weight, if you want to get healthy, if you want to have more energy, if you want to start to regulate your hormones, just eat less often and make sure it's aligned with our biology and the circadian rhythms, so we're not fighting anything, right? We're riding the wave versus trying to swim against it. And it's just such an easy starting point that, you know, when people ask me, what's the one thing I should do? That's where I start them.
Yeah.
You know, 7 to 7, 3 meals, 2 if you can do it, and no snacks, and start there.
Yeah, and that's basically where we start people on reversing middle age too. We just gave a little hint away to you. But
Right.
It's like you always want to start out at an easy spot and you want to work your way up and work your way forward. Because if you give yourself, no pun intended, if you bite off more than you can chew from the start, that's what ends up in failure. Although we all fail, we have our hard knocks, we have our obstacles and our, you know, we deal with, everybody's got stuff to deal with.
Yeah.
However, if you can make it less arduous right from the start, we've already taken the guesswork out. We did the hard work already. That's always critically important in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Darn, I was going to say something and I forgot. Sorry.
That's okay.
Where
are you at anyway?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, I think there was someone in the gym the other day that was from Charlotte. Who was it? I don't know. I don't remember. What's the weather like out there?
It's like Colorado was. It's 50s and sunny.
Oh.
Not too hot. Pretty nice.
It's about 45 and sunny here, which is really
I'm going somewhere tonight to eat some soul food. Mertz.
Oh.
I'm not sure what to expect. I don't eat fried chicken. I'm not a fan of it. Never have been. So if they have collard greens and beans, I might be eating that. But I'm not quite sure what to expect.
Well, that's a good point you brought up. So what do you do when you're faced? What do you do when you're out in another town, another country, not another country, another city? Right.
I bring some of my own stuff. I bring nuts and seeds. I bring, you know, the El NutriFast bar. That's what I eat. Today they had a really good lunch, healthy lunch. It was one of the better ones that I've seen at a conference. A ton of veggies. I had a big old salad. They had some shrimp with lettuce. I had that. I had asparagus, and they had some really good lean prime rib. So
wow.
I had some of that, and I didn't overeat, even though it was all delicious, and I could have gone back for a second round.
Wow, man, that sounds great. I've never seen a smorgasbord like that at a conference or something I've gone to. It's always like Jimmy John sandwiches or like a spread of like strawberries, like all the worst, most highly pesticide-ridden things in the world.
Great point. Now they serve some of that as well at the morning continental breakfast. They had a bunch of berries, and your point is so well taken. I look at those strawberries and they look like that's what I want, but that is the number one sprayed crop.
Yeah.
So I fight it, and I don't eat any of the berries they put out.
I don't blame you on that one, brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the bottom line is when you go out of town to another city, another state, a big city, a small town. I mean, when I traveled across the United States last year, I kept doing Facebook Lives in every town I went to. Every time I stopped for gas, I went to a convenient mart because I get the excuse all the time. Oh, man, I did a road trip and I couldn't find anything healthy to eat. So I just got 2 corn dogs, a chili cheese dog, and a blah, 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 a bag of Doritos and a soda. I'm like, get out of here. I'm like, you put me in any city across the United States. Challenge me. Tell me where to go. I will find something healthy in that town. I will find something healthy in that restaurant. I will ask questions. I will have things prepared. There's never, ever, ever an excuse to not get something healthy. And at the very least common denominator, you've always got this powerful thing, this tool in your back pocket called fasting.
Yeah, right. I do the same thing. I'm like, all right, I'm not eating now. Like tomorrow I'll have lunch. I'll be at the airport around, my flight leaves at 5, but I'm not going to eat after dinner or after lunch. That's going to be it. I'm not going to eat in an airport. I'm not going to, eat any crap on an airplane. I'll be done eating. And that's in my back pocket. Like, I don't need anything. I'm fine.
Yeah, over the past couple of years, I've done that many times. I ate at like 3 in the afternoon or something before I got on a plane. And then I got snacks, I got different things. And I'm like, I'll pass on all of it. I'm just fasting right now. And it's like, let me tell you, your best friend is, everybody out there. Fasting is one of your best friends. So you usually got 4 pockets, maybe 5. You have that little small pocket in the front. So one pocket, you got fasting. Mark's got the 5th pocket. Then you've got this thing called sea salt. Yeah. Sea salt is your other best friend. If you are in a town, if you're traveling, if you're flying, and you're just like completely bombarded with unhealthy food all around you, everywhere you look, okay, if you can get me on that, I'll accept it. But don't eat it. Bring yourself some sea salt. You can put it in a baggie and zip it shut. Malden sea salt flakes is really good. You can get it in loose form, or Redmond sea salt is really good too. And I have these little tiny plastic containers of Redmond sea salt I take with me wherever I go. And when I do a 48-hour fast, which I will be doing next week, I will carry it with me to the gym. And when I get hungry, I sprinkle some on my hand and I eat it, or I just shotgun it right down the throat. It takes your appetite away immediately in a split second. That's going to be your second best friend. So you can put that in another one of your pockets. So you got 2 pockets used up. Hey, Chris, how's it going? So, Chris, we have a good friend, Chris Riddell, on right now. You're starting a 48-hour fast right now. Am I correct? Let's see if she responds back. But to all the rest of you, definitely get some sea salt if you don't have it already. Most households have it these days. And don't go to the store and get the stuff in the blue circular tube. I'm not going to mention names out loud. You know what I'm talking about. The one
with the umbrella.
Yeah, the one with the umbrella on it. And the smiley, actually, she's not smiling. It's like a caricature. You want to know what's crazy or ironic about regular table salt? The fact that they put anti-caking agents. All right, you're starting tonight. Great. We'll be in touch about that. No coffee or tea during the day. We have a question from Julie. No coffee or tea during the day is what she's asking. So here's
I think probably as far as caloric drinks. I think if they're black and right.
Well, here's my take on that, Julie. If you have black coffee or herbal tea, you're probably going to be safe. But the catch is you really have to do a blood test to figure out what kind of effect it has on your body. I assume what you're talking about is drinking black coffee or tea during a fast. Anything that's going to raise your blood sugar to a certain degree or height is going to knock you off a fast. Now, coffee can do that to some people. And the only way you can truly tell if it's going to happen to you is if you get a blood glucose tester and you prick your finger and you check your blood before you drink the coffee or the tea, and then you check it about 20 minutes afterward. And we'll go one step farther. It can even happen if you put cream, heavy cream, or coconut oil or grass-fed butter in your coffee and do that bulletproof stuff. The same effect can happen. It can spike higher or it can actually go lower. But the only way to truly tell is to check your blood glucose. So if you're really, really dedicated and you're like really sciencey about this and you want to find out for sure, the only way to do it is to check your blood glucose. Mark, you've done it before, correct?
I have, and it's different at different times. But I also, just to make sure we're answering the question, if you're, Julie, asking about coffee or tea during the day on a regular day when you're not fasting, again, if you don't put any sweeteners or other caloric things in it, you could use some cream if you want to, but it's calories in, so just make sure that use whole cream if you're going to do it, high fat, the whole nine. Right. But no sugars, no sweeteners. I think you're fine. In fact, I'm going to have a cup of Joe here as soon as we get off. Oh, well, miraculous. I do like coffee. Yes, Julie, just on a regular day. Yeah, that's what Mark was just talking about. Yeah, good. I probably have drank about 2 cups of coffee my entire life combined, and I choked each one down miserably, and it took me like an hour to drink each one. Yeah. And I don't remember the circumstances. I was at friends' houses or I was out somewhere, and someone's like, "Come on, Rail, you gotta man up and drink some coffee." I'm like, "Oh." Peer pressure.
Yeah, they already bought it and handed it to me. I was like, oh. And I was like, oh, I choked down every single sip. It's just me. Whatever. I love the smell of coffee. I just don't drink it.
Yeah. Listen, I got to get rolling, but love talking to you. Good topic. I like the label, the serving size. Take a look at the total number of macronutrients and how you're getting those in, particularly carbohydrates. And I'm going to probably go more into this, as we continue talking. I have been largely, I don't want to say convinced, but thinking that lower carbohydrate diets are probably more beneficial for most of people in the United States that are overweight, obese, have fatty liver, have prediabetes, have other health-related problems triggered by glucose and insulin. I think that's something that we need to start paying more attention to. And you can benefit from a liberal low carbohydrate diet, say of 100 grams a day, but also with fasting. And, that's, I think, what you get out of our Reversing Middle Age program is you learn how to be fat adapted so that you can pull fasting out of your back pocket if you need it. You know how to eat these 2 or 3 meals a day without any sort of snacks. You're not drinking caloric drinks. You're not deprived, though, or suffering. Kevin eats good meals. I love what I see. I eat really healthy, really good food. I'm not deprived of anything. You just have to learn the fundamentals of it. And if you want to learn that in a really small setting, we're going to get something started. We've taught this before. And it works. The results have been good, but what we want out of it is what people got out of it was sustainability. So you don't need us that much. You don't need us afterwards. You want to, listen to our Facebook Lives, get some nuances, but when you're done with the 12 weeks with us, you're done.
You're good.
You understand what keto means. Keto is not a diet. It's not a secret. It's not a plan. It's getting your body fat adapted so that it burns fat and you get ketones off of it. It's not eating it. You don't get keto by eating bacon and by eating keto donuts
and cookies and potato chips. I've seen it all, man.
And pancakes. You want keto pancakes. What the hell do you put on keto pancakes?
Peanut butter, maybe? I don't know. I've seen it all, man. At the FitCon a couple years ago, everything was keto. Keto cups, keto cupcakes, keto cookies, you name it. Keto chips. They make like these fake circular, look like rice cakes that are keto something, made out of something. And I'm like, what? Just like what we said in the beginning, it's processed. It's 100% processed. How could that possibly be good for your system? I remember having like a small take-home package of them, and I had like the biggest bellyache after I ate those things on the ride home. I couldn't believe it. I was guzzling water, thinking that like I needed to have more water because it was, I don't know what, it was high in protein or something, and it didn't help. Just exacerbated it. I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to get this stuff digested and out of my system already.
Here's my parting note. The best keto food, you want to know the very number one keto food?
Water. Bacon.
No, you got me on water. I was going to say fasting.
I was thinking fasting too. That is
water.
The best one.
Right.
But I got something to add quick about the meal stuff we were talking about.
Yeah.
I do only eat 2 meals a day, most days of the week. And what ends up happening is when you start shrinking your eating window, you start building the meals up a little bit bigger and you make it more nutrient dense. And I have got it down on how to build these meals and how to do them perfectly for the best caloric intake, brain function, muscle gaining, muscle mass, muscle preservation, and hormone balancing. And what ends up happening is your body becomes better at breaking food down because we teach you how to diet properly to improve your gut health in general. And fasting does that. So if you're breaking food down better, you're going to be able to break nutrients down more feasibly than you would if you're just eating like a schlep diet or like an out-of-control diet or like just a normal kind of diet. So over the time, that's how you build muscle, because if you're eating 6 meals a day, your body never gets a chance to reset. There's not enough time in between your meals. So you might be eating protein shakes and bars and like chicken salad for lunch and all these different things, and you think you're doing something good for yourself, but you're probably not breaking down most of that food, maybe 50% if you're lucky. But when you start doing longer fasts and your stem cells start to release more in your stomach, that's when the magic happens. And when you start eating more prebiotic foods and build up the good probiotics in your stomach, then you can survive on 2 meals a day, and your body is going to absorb those nutrients a lot better off than if you're eating 6 meals a day. So that's one of the tricks of the trade for building and maintaining lean muscle mass, and I have cracked the code on this. I absolutely swear I have. So that's going to be my parting tip of the day. Unless Mark has something to add to it.
Nothing.
Great.
All right, man. Good to see you.
You too. Everybody out there, make sure to go to Pine Palm Superfoods if you want to get a vegan, all-natural alternative to your high fructose corn syrup and schleppy supplements, since we were talking about nutrient labels before. And with that note, also hit me up if you guys want to jump on board with the Reversing Middle Age Challenge. And remember to hug somebody today. Remember to live in the present moment at all times. Do at least one good deed without any expectation of anything in return, and make sure to go beyond your comfort zone at least one time every single day. Till next time, this is K-Rail reporting live from Park City, Utah.